Hey y'all, it's Alexis from Ask Alexis here, and so a thing happened, and I wanted to let you guys know about it because on the ally journey, if you aren't willing to go through these kind of things, you might as well, not get on it. But that's not an option. Please get on the ally journey. I'm not trying to encourage you not to. But I was having a conversation with one of my friends, and a new friend, we're getting to know each other, but I really like what they stand for. And so I was referring some business to them, and I did not ask what their pronouns were before. So in the referring the business to them, I just used the plural pronouns so I could have I thought I was doing well with that, and I was feeling good about that, and had okay, so I'm making sure I'm not gendering the pronouns. I'm doing good. But then when I talked to them, I said, what are your preferred pronouns? And of course, I'm a person, and I so I was feeling good about what I did, giving myself too much credit, right? More credit than acting like I'm just this veteran on this ally journey. But I was giving myself, so I said, what are your preferred pronouns? And they told me their preferred pronouns, and then they shot back real quick, was and it's not preferred, it's appropriate pronouns. And that shit clicked so quick in my mind, oh, I see why that's a very important distinction. So rather than bringing them into the shame I was feeling and my disappointment because I thought I was doing good, and so of course it felt bad to be oh man, I messed up. Rather than bring them into that moment, I just said, thank you for that correction. I completely understand that important distinction. So I just wanted to share that with you guys, that it is okay to be corrected, right? And a person who is correcting you is actually doing you a favor. So you ain't got to go through this whole shame spiral. You could see yourself having it, but then those are your feelings, and it's okay to manage your own feelings and not have to bring the person you potentially have offended into your feeling and try to have to have them make you feel better because you're feeling so ashamed. So you just politely say thank you. Try to understand what was being said. Mark it in your mind, if you need to do some research later, or if you get it once it's reframed for you, just take the correction and move on in the conversation. Because as a person who gets microaggressed all the time, a way that I like to explain microaggressions is they like mosquito bites. And so one is not so bad, but if you have, 5011 or 50 million, for people who don't know what 5011 is, but 50 million mosquito bites, you're going to want to jump out of your skin. However, at the point that you've lived a life having 50 million mosquito bites, even though there are times where you want to jump out of your skin, you're really not going to feel an individual mosquito bite every single time. Hell, do we even feel when the mosquitoes biting us every time? So it doesn't always require this grandiose moment of acknowledgement that says, hey, I see you, I hear you, I value you, I'm so sorry, please forgive me. Because if I see you trying, that plays, right? That lets me know that you're doing the work. You're not just talking the work. And then if we're connecting person to person, not having to deal with the unpleasant nature of our racialized society, then I'd much rather be connecting to you person to person. And when we move past the person, the microaggression, especially since your heart was in the right place, we can still connect person to person. You could have your lesson and we could be friends. And after all, if we have more friends, we have less divisiveness. Now, I'm not saying everybody got to be everybody's friend, but everybody doesn't have to be afraid of everybody else. Okay. Or afraid of being harmed, or afraid that you're going to say something that hurts my feelings. We could just learn how to communicate better with each other. We could just learn how to be in relationship with people who are different than us. Just like it's hard being in relationship and there's nuances and challenges with people who have similar ethnicities. All of those relationship dynamics still play out. You just have to add the racialized society factor to it when you're being an ally. Okay. So, to recap, this happened to me. I got corrected because I said, what are your preferred pronouns? And when you say preferred, it makes it seem like their experience is not their actual experience, but something they just kind of prefer to do. It makes it like not real. It's a little bit of like a sneak diss. So when we're asking pronouns is what are your appropriate pronouns? Or just simply what are your pronouns? And you don't have to have a qualifying word before it. But appropriate is an acknowledgement of that person's identity being real. When you make it a preference, it has a little bit of a connotation that it might not be real. So say it with me. What are your appropriate pronouns, or what are your pronouns? Okay, so when you ask somebody, and then if you have to be corrected because you said something wrong as an ally to another racialized group, thank the person for the correction. Don't make it about you, and move on in the conversation. Thank you for coming to my Ask Alexis talk, and I will